U.S. Surgeon General states that 20% of U.S. population are affected by mental disorders during a given year. 20%. That means that it is highly likely that you or someone close to you has suffered from some kind of mental illness at some point in your life. Therefore, it is crucial for you to be informed about the symptoms of these mental disorders so that you will know how to deal with it when it comes up in your life. While I do not have personal experience with every mental disorder, in 2011, I was diagnosed with Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, also known as OCPD. It is in the same family as Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, or OCD, but it is very different in symptoms and manifestations. After hearing my speech, the audience will be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of OCPD in themselves and in others, and will understand the differences between OCD and OCPD. I will do this by first defining and explaining OCPD. Then I will list the symptoms of OCPD as found in the DSM-IV, which is the main diagnostic tool used by the American Psychological Association. And then I will show the differences between OCD and OCPD. So my first point, what is Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder? It is a, quote, type of personality disorder marked by rigidity, control, perfectionism, and an over-concern with work at the expense of close interpersonal relationships, end quote. And that is from the Encyclopedia of Mental Disorders. In my own life, this manifests itself with having a need for perfectionism on all school assignments, graded or not. While this sounds like a good quality to have in a college student, in my life it became dangerous when perfectionism took over. It was more important than having relationships with others, more important than eating, than sleeping. It became the ruler of my life, and that is very dangerous. So what are the symptoms of OCPD as laid out in the DSM-IV? The first symptom is that patients with OCPD are preoccupied with details, rules, and order to the extent that the point of the activity is lost. Secondly, perfectionism in their life interferes with task completion. They work so hard at reaching the standard of perfection in their minds that they never actually complete the assignment. Number 3, patients are so devoted to work that rest and friendships come second. They are excluded from their life. Number 4, patients are inflexible about matters of morality, ethics, and values. Number 5, they are unable to discard worthless objects. That is also known as hoarding. Number 6, patients find it very difficult to work with other people, such as on group assignments, unless the group follows their orders to the T. Number 7, many patients with OCPD are miserly, which means they find it hard to spend money. They think that money should be hoarded in the case of a future catastrophe. And the final symptom is that patients with OCPD are rigid and stubborn in every aspect of their life. And all of these symptoms were found on Psych Central. My final point is, how does OCPD differ from OCD? Quote, persons with OCD experience tremendous anxiety related to specific preoccupations which are perceived as threatening. Within the condition of OCPD, it is one's dysfunctional philosophy which produces anxiety, anguish, and frustration. And that is a quote from Phillipson. Basically, this quote means that people with OCPD become upset because the world around them does not match the categories inside of their mind, while people with OCD find life to be hard when a certain instance comes up, such as a germ or a disordered bookshelf. They are triggered by certain situations, while people with OCPD have this all of the time. They are in a constant battle. The second difference is that, quote, people with OCD have unwanted thoughts, while people with OCPD believe that their thoughts are correct. This is from Vorvik, Merrill, and Zeev. This basically means that people with Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder have no idea that their thoughts are irrational, while people with OCD understand that it is irrational to want to wash your hands 20 times a day. My final point is that OCD is manifested physically, which means that you can observe that someone has Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, while people that have OCPD are usually non-observable. You cannot tell that they have the disorder because all of it is inside of their brain. So in conclusion, Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder is a mental disorder marked by perfectionism, rigidity, and a need for control. There are 8 main symptoms, ranging from being miserly to putting work over rest. The differences between OCD and OCPD are that OCD manifests itself physically, while OCPD does not. OCPD patients do not realize that they have irrational thoughts, while patients that have OCD understand that they are irrational. And finally, people with OCD are in a constant battle, wanting to fight against the world around them, while people with OCD are just fighting against the triggers. So to close, if you or someone you know has this disorder, use the knowledge that you have gained today to begin the healing process. Go visit a counselor, start talking through these symptoms. And finally, don't group OCD and OCPD together. They are not the same disorder, and they have very different symptoms. I hope that you will leave today with a better understanding of these disorders so that you can inform others about obsessive compulsive personality disorder in the future. Thank you.